TrickLife.com.
A manual shift car isn't easy for most people, but with practice, it can become second nature. So come on into my car and we'll go for a ride. Alright, let's go. So now that we're in the car itself, we should look at the main components necessary for driving a manual shift car. Well, the first is of course the steering wheel, the shifter itself, and of course the gas pedal, the brake pedal, and the very important clutch itself. So to start the car, we need to first hold down the clutch pedal and slowly start the engine in the neutral position, which is at the center. Alright, now that we have started the engine, we need to keep holding down the clutch pedal and slowly put the car into first gear, which is the top left. And now what we're going to do is we're going to slowly let go of the clutch pedal while holding down the gas pedal. So that's the basic idea of how to drive a manual car. But there's one thing that you should watch out for, and that is stalling the engine. There are a few ways where you can stall the engine. The first of which is pressing down the gas pedal and changing to the first gear without holding down the clutch. This is what happens to the car if you were to do that without holding down the clutch. Listen carefully to the sound of the engine as I put it into first gear without holding down the clutch. As you can see, the motor just suddenly died. This is what happens in real life as well if you were to not hold down the clutch when putting it into first gear from a neutral park position. Putting a manual car into reverse is just as easy as putting it into first gear. So the first thing we should ensure is holding the clutch down. Once the clutch is down, you can then put the car's transmission into the reverse gear, which is usually holding it down and pushing it to the far right and down again. However, in other cars such as Audi and Volvo or other European cars, the reverse gear is actually to the left of the first gear, so there will actually be another notch to the left of the first gear over there somewhere. Since this isn't a Volvo or an Audi, it would be at the bottom right. Now once this is in the reverse gear, we could then proceed to letting go of the clutch slowly and putting some gas into this elevator. Then when we stop, we need to hold down the clutch still, and as well the brake, and slowly let going of the brake, holding the clutches again, putting the gear into neutral, and then again into the first gear as we learned already. And then we slowly let go of the clutch and slowly apply gas. Now I just attracted some police, and this is an example of what you should not do when driving a manual car, or any car for that matter. Now the last thing that I want to mention about driving a manual shift car is the tachometer. Usually when you drive an automatic vehicle, you usually don't look at the tachometer because it doesn't really apply when you're driving. However, this is a totally different story when you're driving a manual vehicle, because it is the tachometer that tells you basically when you should shift and when you shouldn't shift. So for example, if I'm going on a normal road and I'm on the first gear, generally you would want to accelerate until the needle reaches between 2 and 3. Generally not over 3, but sometimes you can go over 3 to somewhere between 4 and 5, for example, if necessary, to accelerate faster onto a highway, for example. But generally you should never go over 3 or under 2. The best region is between 2 and 3 because this maintains the best gas efficiency. So it saves you more gas if you accelerate and switch gears when your RPM needle goes between 2 and 3. If you go under, if you shift and the needle is pointing at 1 or 2, then that's called an undershift. And basically that's going to put more stress on the engine and cause you to waste more gas. Similarly, if you wait until the needle goes too high, then your engine is going to whine really high, and you will also lose gas efficiency. However, this will let you accelerate faster though, because you're getting more power out of your engine. But if you do decide to accelerate that fast and go to an RPM value of around 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000, or even 7,000, then you might potentially damage your engine, especially if the needle goes to the red region between 7,000 and 8,000 RPM. This basically concludes the tutorial on how to drive a manual shift car. Hope you learned something, and good luck with driving a manual shift car.
TrickLife.com